What's a llama's favorite movie?
What's a llama's favorite movie, Adam?
Llama Deus. Reserved seating starts right now. And also, I'm calling out to YouTube.
Yeah.
The Tales from the Crypt YouTube channel that I liked got
Mhm.
deactivated.
Oh, what the hell? Why?
Copyright
Oh.
stuff. Um, and I've been scouring the YouTube trying to find a replacement.
Mhm.
All of your Tales podcasts stink. And I'm not saying this to set up like, oh, I got to do it myself. I don't want to do it myself. I want somebody out there to do what CryptTube Incorporated did, which is deliver HD transfers of the episodes, crypt discussions, and archival commercials. If you're doing a Tales review podcast or YouTube series and you're reviewing each episode, I don't need you to describe what happens in the episode for 30 minutes. Value add,
Yeah.
bring it. We're here to talk about the greatest game ever played. So the way that it worked was we had a Disney sports movie draft earlier in the year. We had $15 to
Mhm.
draft five movies, and each movie was a different dollar value. So you could have mixed and matched, but the way I chose to do it was I had a $1 pick, a $2 pick, a $3 pick, a $4 pick, and a $5 pick. So we're going to start at the bottom with
Mhm.
the $1 pick, and that is the second feature directed by the late great Bill Paxton. The greatest game ever played was his sophomore feature. It's a depiction of the 1913 U.S. Open between Harry Vardon, who was a golf legend who won several British Opens. He came across the pond to take the U.S. Open crown, to appeal to the rich and powerful in
Mhm.
England. But the fly in the ointment was Francis Ouimet, who was a guy who lived across the street, basically,
Yeah.
from the greens, the grounds, the golf place. He was a simple caddy
Yeah.
from literally across the tracks who did not fit in with upper crust society in Massachusetts.
But guess what he could do?
Could golf his ass off.
Golf his ass off.
Yeah, and he won that shit.
He did. It
Yeah,
was the greatest
spoiler.
game ever played.
Is golf the greatest game ever played, Rob?
No.
The
Golf's the
movie title has a double meaning where it's
Mm.
like, is this the was this match the greatest game ever played? Or is he saying like, oh, golf, naturally, the greatest game that's ever played?
I'm not a golfer. I'm not a golf. I'm not a fan of the golf. I can count on one hand the number of times I've hit a golf ball. But I think a sports movie should make me care about the sport. And to an extent, this movie kind of did that in a Disney way. It did it about as well as that fucking Brad Pitt movie made me care about auto racing. So
Did the camera trickery of the golfing sequences add to your enjoyment of the golfing sequences?
I'm not sure it did. It added to my enjoyment of Bill Paxton. I'll say
Yeah.
that. It added to my enjoyment as a sophomore effort after making the great, awesome, underrated Frailty. I liked this idea of Bill Paxton sort of trying his hand at being like a studio director. Like he
Yeah.
was just making a very sort of straightforward, kid-friendly, inspirational sports movie, handling actors, dealing with a little flourishes, visual flourishes, as you're describing every now and again. This is by no means a great movie, but it's like a perfectly watchable Disney sports movie that really endeared me to Bill Paxton even more than I already was.
Yeah, I forgot completely that Bill Paxton directed it until about a year ago when I was talking about something related to golf, and Patrick was like, "Oh yeah, the greatest game ever played, directed by Bill Paxton." I'm like, "Surely you're jesting. That was directed by Stephen Daldry."
It was also, I should say, real quick, written based on the novel or based on the book by the great Mark Frost of Twin Peaks fame, the
Oh, is
Often
it the same Mark
It's the
Frost?
same
Okay.
Mark Frost, yeah. Often ignored co-creator, unjustly ignored co-creator of Twin Peaks, who wrote a book. I believe I haven't read the book, but it is based on his book, an accounting of this historical event. And he wrote his. I believe he has the only screenplay credit, so he did write his own screenplay as well. So two things, two creatives in this that really endeared me to it. Plus Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and we all know his off-screen
Yeah,
stuff. We don't really have to dive into that.
sure.
Although I was a fan of him at the time.
Totally,
Because
absolutely.
I was really big into Even Stevens. I thought he was really funny. I'm like, this guy's kind of a gifted comedic actor. And then like he went on a Disney run with Holes and Greatest Game Ever Played, and I liked your one word review of this movie on Letterboxd, which was just earnest with an exclamation mark because he
There
was
is.
doing the same thing. He was turning in these earnest performances, maybe a little anachronistic in this movie. He seems a little bit modern. Whereas Stephen Delane, who plays Harry Varden, feels like you could drop him in, and Elias Koteas is playing like 1813 while everybody
I
else is playing
love that.
1914.
Oh, sorry, I stepped on your joke.
Yeah, the Elias Koteas thing, I when they show him at the end of the movie where he's giving like the thumbs up or like holding his hand out to his son who just won the Open and everything like that. It was weird. I don't know if it was like the costuming was different for him, but like everybody else looked like 1913, but he looked like he was from the 1700s and like he was like a time traveler like Back to the Future
Maybe,
forward.
maybe that's why his character was such an asshole the whole time. He was dealing with a whole other time travel plot that Shia LaBeouf wasn't even aware of.
This movie could be real stuffy and stodgy, but like I think it's like really entertaining.
It's just really well balanced. Again, like not that I wouldn't expect Bill Paxton to understand how to manage tone, but like it's
Mhm.
just a really solid, well composed, straightforward, like just cheese sandwich of a movie. Like it's totally inoffensive, totally competent. And again, I wish Bill Paxton had survived to make 15 more of these. I would have been happy to watch them.
You could tell that he learned a lot from the directors that he worked with. I can't like place like he learned the most from this guy necessarily
No,
because it's
not
not
really.
like it doesn't feel like a Carl Franklin movie. It doesn't feel like a James
It's
Cameron movie
Cameron.
by any stretch. But
That would be
um
wild.
but I mean like I was trying to think like why this movie as his second movie other than if it was just like Frailty was 4 years ago, I need another gig.
Nothing else.
But I mean maybe he's interested in kind of the father-son dynamic that's a thread between the two movies in a very different way.
I think, and I'm not an actor, I'm not a director, I can't speak to this, but like I think that there may have been something in the idea of I'm a career actor and I would like to direct a movie that's full of actors. That's really
Yeah.
kind of wall to wall close-ups. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like this movie is directed in a way where you can it's even though I wouldn't say this movie has the most complex characters I've ever seen, each one is a type and each type takes time to develop and you can tell he's working with really solid actors and really his compositions are like really simple but they're also as you said there's little flourishes here and there. I think I can imagine him just being excited to work with this caliber of actor for this kind of classical story and not have to like I love Frailty but like definitely like not have to dig too much into like into like tone and like genre kind of peculiarities and all that.
So I got a question for you since we're doing a Disney sports movie draft as a theme, and this is one of those movies where it was in the mid 2000s and Disney was making a ton of sports movies between the late 90s and the mid 2000s. Um, do you have a favorite? Is it Greatest Game Ever Played, Glory Road, Miracle, Remember the Titans, The Rookie? Is there one to you that stands out?
Honestly, in that time period, like that's when I'm moving away from Disney generally, obviously.
Yeah.
Like '05 is when this movie comes out. I'm graduating high school. So like I remember the Titans
Yeah.
as kind of the one that everyone pointed to as like this one was great. I can't say I'm a huge fan of that movie myself. Not that I dislike it. I've probably only seen it once or twice.
It doesn't hold up as well as I hoped it
No.
would when I
Okay.
rewatched it. Yeah.
I can't say my memory of this particular era of Disney sports movies is too strong. One of the reasons why I'm kind of looking forward to doing this as well. What
Yeah.
about you?
Miracle by far. Like
Miracle? Yeah.
I think Miracle I can't say this like I'm gonna plant my flag saying this, but if somebody went up to me and said Miracle is Kurt Russell's best performance, I wouldn't disagree with them.
Okay.
I think he's like on another level in that movie. I really liked that the movie also Disney sometimes has a problem when a movie is like really serious and earnest, which Greatest Game Ever Played is.
Mhm.
They had this more with their animated movies where it's like Aladdin's a big hit and The Lion King's a big hit, so Pocahontas has to have a funny raccoon in it. So they're just like, and I feel like this movie's funny raccoon is the caddy for
Yeah,
Shia
totally.
LaBeouf.
Yep.
It's like they're just like, well, we are Disney. We can't give him an like like a
He needs to have a
cat
friend.
that talks. He needs to have a friend.
Yeah.
So they give him this kid who looks like it's like if Jim Belushi played one of the kids on the stoop in Eight Men Out. I would give this movie out of 10 harumph harumphs. I would
Oh
give it 10 harumph
yeah.
harumphs.
This is a real harumph harumph movie. It's all just stuffy Brits with mustaches going. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. What's all this stuff? No, it's
Yeah,
great.
it's just like you're being polite.
Yeah.
Gross. I like when I think the golfer's name was Ted Ray. It's the other golfer that comes across
Like
the
third.
pond with he's the really big guy.
Okay.
Um when they introduce him and he's teeing off through phone books
Yeah.
to show that he's like the Little John of Sherwood
Yeah.
Forest of
Yeah.
golfers.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I saw it in '05 and I bought the DVD and I ended up selling it over the years because I was just like, it's still unopened. When am I ever going to watch the greatest game ever played? But I'm on a 2005 revisit run. This dovetailed very nicely
Oh,
with that theme. And I think it's one of my favorite revisits so far of the
awesome.
2005 movies. It's a really good sports movie. Would
All right.
you rather have Elias Koteas from this movie in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Casey Jones Elias Koteas as Francis Ouimet's father?
I like the idea that like Casey Jones doesn't condone his son playing golf because it's too stuffy. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, man, go out and play rock and roll music. Like this is bullshit.
So we will be back next week with a sequel to a beloved movie of you and I. I've never seen the
I
sequel.
don't think I was about to say that. I don't think I've seen it either. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever seen an extremely goofy movie.
I didn't even know it was a sports movie because
Neither
on
did
the
I.
cover of the DVD, I remember they're both like disco
It's
dancing, like
yeah,
Saturday Night Fever style.
yeah.
But it's apparently like an X
It's
Games movie.
rollerblading, right? Yeah, X Games. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All
So,
right.
but it was also I read the finale of the television series Goof Troop. It was intended to be that.
Got it. So there's a
So
whole backstory.
Goof Troop was this animated series that preceded a Goofy movie,
Right.
but then an extremely mo Goofy movie was meant to be basically the series finale, if you will,
Got
of
it.
the whole thing. So a lot of expectations, not unlike Tales from the Crypt YouTube channels. Up your game. I could do it, but I'm not going to do it. So we will be back next time. I'll have another movie joke that will have you rolling in the aisles.
I like that. That should
That's
be
it.
that should be
That's
the.
it.
Oh, that's it. All right.
That's it. Until next time.
These seats are skipping school to watch some golf.
Yeah,
I like that one. That's good.
I do too.
Sometimes when it comes to me right away, it's like just go, go, go.